Alright guys, so let's take a swipe at the open letter that Nnamdi Kanu sent just few hours ago to all Nigerians, and it was put up by Sahara Reporter. Sahara Reporter said, "I'd rather die in detention than face trial by biased judge or court, Nnamdi Kanu." Now you can see the letter. It says, Kanu made this statement in an open letter to the public, which he personally signed from his detention at the Department of State Services (DSS). The letter was made available through his special counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimako. The detained leader of the Indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has declared that he would prefer to remain in detention for the rest of his life rather than be tried by a corrupt and biased judge or court. Kanu made this statement in an open letter to the public, which he personally signed from his detention at the Department of State Security (DSS). The letter was made available through his special counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimako. Now, let's go forward into the letter. It says, Kanu vowed that if it will take the rest of my life in detention to produce me before a proper and impartial court, so be it. But let me say this for the world to know. I will not succumb to any trial conducted by any judge or courts whose jurisdiction does not pass constitutional muster. Not now, not ever, he said in the letter. I have been compelled by the events of the past few days to take the unusual step of writing this open letter for the singular purpose of calling the attention of the general public to the serial executive and judicial fraud being perpetrated against me since my extraordinary rendition in 2021, Kanu said. He went further to say that he recalled that in a judgment entered on March 1st, 2027, the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled that the IPOB is not an unlawful group. This landmark ruling, made by the courts before it turned unjust, emanated in criminal proceedings that required proof beyond reasonable doubt, and in which the federal government and my humble self presented our respective cases. Alas, instead of the federal government to go on appeal as the law mandated, if they are dissatisfied with the judgment, the former Attorney General Ebuka Obi went behind closed doors with a letter signed by late Abba Kyari and got IPOB proscribed, tagged as a terrorist group, in an ex parte proceedings conducted without notice to me or to the IPOB. This abominable incident was the earliest sign yet that the government and its judiciary have struck an unholy and fraudulent alliance to deny me my rights and thereby imperil the lives of the liberty of millions who identify with IPOB. We further recall that in October 26, 2002, a federal high court declared his extraordinary rendition and detention as unconstitutional. Accordingly, the IPOB leader, the court, stated that the matter of arrest and detention of the applicant Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, his continued detention in Abuja, his subjection to physical and mental trauma by the respondents, the inhuman and ungraded treatment meted out to the applicant amounts to a brazen violation of the applicant's fundamental right to dignity of his personal and threat of life under Section 34, subsection 1, Article A of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. He quoted the court as saying, he noted that the court further ordered the Nigerian government to apologize to him and pay him compensation. Yes, I recall that judgment. Now, Kanu said in a responsible and well-ordered society run by a responsible government, this judgment is sufficient to have ended my lengthy detention and encourage the federal government to constructively engage me on the issue of self-determination agitation that triggered this whole saga. He also recalled that on October 13th, 2022, the Court of Appeal held that courts must never shy away from calling the executive to order when they resorts to acts of executive lawlessness. The letter also says, quoting the Court of Appeal, he said, the duty of the court is to maintain a balance between ensuring the law and order is obeyed and the protection of the individual from oppressive action by the executive. He went ahead to say, by the forcible abduction and extraordinary rendition of the appellant Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to his country on the day of June 27, 2021, in violation of international and state laws, the lower court, or indeed any court in this country, is divested of jurisdiction to entertain charges against the appellant. Kanu noted that despite the clarity of the appeal court's judgment and its components with reason, the Nigerian government refused to release him from detention. It went behind closed doors and connived with 3 other judges of the appeal court, who fraudulently and swiftly sat on appeal over the judgment and practically destroyed it by issuing what they termed a stay of execution, he said. One may then ask, is it not abominable for a court to stay a judgment the government already disobeyed? He said. He further stated that in multiple cases, the Supreme Court had held that anybody who disobeys a related court order cannot be given any judicial relief until such order is obeyed. Now, these are one or two of these are the information. Let me go to the last part and read the conclusion so that I will not dwell so much on it. It says, finally, to conclude this open letter, let me make it clear that it should in no way be construed to mean that there are no decent judges in Nigeria that can be trusted to deliver even-handed justice in my case. That is not the issue. Instead, the issue is that my case is deliberately being shielded from judges and justices that are deemed to be committed to doing justice, even when it means that the federal government must lose. Now, for a lot of people believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not willing to listen, is not willing to dialogue. And I've said it several times on this platform. When I say it, many people will say, hey, Mazi, it has past time for dialogue. See, listen, dialogue is not an issue that is timed. Dialogue can be met at any point. The question you should be asking is, what are the conditions of the dialogue? Like you saw it in the letter I read earlier, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said they should have called him to a dialogue at this point to discuss the issues that led to this so-called extraordinary rendition. Then we'll look at it critically and say, how can these issues be solved if at all we must continue to become one Nigeria? Rather than looking at it from this perspective, the federal government allegedly continues to use intimidation, using high-handedness, using government strategies, using state and non-state actors, using federal government wealth to continue to intimidate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And like I say, whether you continue to delay the judgment or you use your strategies, regardless of how long you use these strategies, the truth is that the case remains, and postponing the evil day does not put an end to that evil day. If you like holding Nnamdi Kanu, we had Wazirike before Nnamdi Kanu came up. When Wazirike was silent, Nnamdi Kanu came up. When Nnamdi Kanu became silent, Simon Ekpa came up. Simon Ekpa is silent. Now we have other people still agitating because it is in the mind of the people. So using intimidation and all that will not solve. It will it's only what I call postponing the evil day. And the federal government must understand that at this point they must call a spade and do well to ensure they resolve these issues once and for all. Many thanks indeed to all our viewers and returning subscribers. We truly don't take it lightly. My name again is Moses, and this is Think Tank TV. One thing you need to do is that you need to touch the like of this video. We want this video to be recommended. We want this open letter Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to go to the nooks and crannies for our leaders to see, and I believe that perhaps justice will prevail one day. Do well to also smash the subscribe button if you're new to our station. Turn on the notification bell so that you can be duly informed when we put out more informative content like this. Many thanks indeed to all our viewers and returning subscribers. We truly don't take it lightly. My name again is Moses, and this is Think Tank TV. See you on our next video. Bye for now.